welcome everybody, and I don't know whether you've ever done any of this, but welcome to Spin Legal tonight. We're talking about hunting and gaming laws today, and if you need to contact Spin Legal, you can do so on 905-688-5598.
I don't know what we're hunting or gaming for.
We'll talk about that. You can call Angela, email Angela at angelo@weareinvictus, or myself via peter@weareinvictus.legal, and weareinvictus.legal is our website. All right. Okay. So so that's kind of where we are. Hunting and gaming offences. I don't know. I've never done any myself, but hunting is actually is considered you have to get a license, you have to do the right thing in order to do it, but hunting and gaming is something that is permitted in Ontario, but there are license periods, etc. Haven't a clue what they are.
And you can't even, like, if you're going to be going bear hunting, you can't kill, like, there's a limited number of things like that, so you can't go out and kill every bear you see.
No, I think you've got one per season.
Yeah, exactly.
With something like bear.
Yeah, so I mean, people have to be careful. Fishing, there's times of the year you can do it, places you can do it.
Yeah. And if you're found hunting or fishing without a valid license, you can be fined.
Yep, you can be fined, or if you want to fight it, then I guess you'd have to talk to somebody like us.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a provincial offence, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So things people can get fined for if they screw up.
Yeah, and it is a provincial offence, so primarily fines apply, but there is some jail time in extreme circumstances.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So where are we now? Okay. So as I said, the first of these is hunting without, and the first of the offences is hunting without a license. Pretty clear.
Commercialization.
And you have to carry a license around as well.
Yep, you have to produce it if somebody asks.
Yeah, and that would be a fish and game officer, wouldn't it?
Yep.
So failure to carry an outdoors card while hunting. I would have thought all hunting would be outdoors, but still. Don't know what that
like
really.
Indoor hunting? Is there indoor hunting too?
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought there would be indoor hunting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so and failure to carry or produce a license or outdoor card to a conservation officer.
Yep.
So if even if you're just validly fishing, whatever, you've got to come up with a license at all times.
Yep. You get your conservation officers, usually working for the NPCA, Niagara Conservation Authority, or other places in other regions in Ontario, similar types of organizations. These people are authorized to do things like this. They're enforcement officers.
Yeah. And, it's like if you and I went fishing and I had a license but you didn't, that's fine, so long as you're not fishing.
Mm-hmm. I could be sitting beside you and I can
exactly.
I could brag about the last big one that I caught last year.
Yeah, but again, like for example, yeah, if you were sitting beside me and you said, "Hey, look, there's a line going. The line there is fishing lines going." It would be illegal for you to touch it if you didn't have a license.
Right.
I do know. That's it's kind of how they are. So at that point, when they kind of going, "Oh well, who's got a license here?"
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, then you pull out your wallet and here you go.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So they've just seen somebody catch a fish, but they haven't got a license, right? So
what they're trying to do is make sure that people don't overfish, They catch all the fish in the lake there, and then the lake is empty of fish, or that they don't go out causing species at risk when they were
Yeah,
prior to. You want to make sure that there's a preservation of enough
yeah,
species,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
they keep
It's
them under
all,
control, right?
in fact, most hunters will agree that the licenses are there for good reason,
Yep.
right? Um, and they buy their license every year, and if you obtain a license when you're not eligible, that's an offence.
Mm-hmm.
What might well be the case there is potentially if you're not old enough, or if you've been banned from having a license. Although I think the latter one, you would hope that the licensing authority would basically understand that.
Remember when they had, I think somebody, a few years back, somebody ended the spring bear hunt for a little while, for a few years. I would
Okay.
suspect that had to do with bears starting to go down in population.
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to keep these animals. The authorities keep these animals in check, so they
Yeah,
know how many there should be.
yeah. And they know approximately how much they are. They see the babies and adults, and they know approximately how much there should be.
Mm.
And this is one of the things there. And also, you can't do this commercially.
Well, actually, can you? I don't know. Because in fact, actually, there are fines for companies,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Yeah.
anyway, if you've got failure to invalidate a tag after a kill, so you've got tags on you which you will have bought for the purpose of the journey you're doing, and you have to actually tag a creature. You have to tag the creature when you've killed them,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
right?
There has to be a license number and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So they know that this was done with this particular license.
Yeah, and there are ways that you've got to do that, and it depends upon the animal that you kill as to what the how you do the tag.
Remember, there was a bit of a controversy in Short Hills
Okay,
a few years ago.
what?
They're allowing people of indigenous descent to go in there to hunt for deer or whatever they're hunting, but not anybody else. I
Mm.
remember they were getting people were had their shorts in a knot over it.
Well, but again, there are different rules for Indigenous people than there are for the rest of us,
Hmm.
right? Although we're not really covering any of those rules on here.
Yeah, they have other ways of dealing with these things.
Yeah. Right, and for example, failure to attach a seal for a big game animal is as required,
Ooh.
right? As is transporting a seal, a big game animal without a seal.
Hmm. Yep. These things. A lot of people don't think of these things, but there's bureaucracy in hunting too.
Yeah, and rightly so.
Yeah, rightly so, because we have to know what's going on out there.
Yeah, and the point being is that somebody's keeping an eye on the wildlife that we have in the area, and many of the wildlife conservation officers are actually hunters themselves.
Yep. Like when I was growing up, when I was very young, my father was a hunter, and
Yeah.
at one point they caught a moose,
Oh, good.
and
Yeah.
we had
Interesting.
the whole neighborhood over, and we were all enjoying moose meat.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
later on, he taught me how to hunt too.
Yeah.
I never caught anything, but it was interesting. It was interesting to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Do use
Sure.
a gun and use a rifle and stuff like that. It was very interesting.
Yeah. Well, and you think to yourself, there's a skill in it because
Hmm.
it's not just pick a gun and bang,
Yeah,
right? You've got to be doing the right animal,
yeah,
right? Because for example, deer, you can't kill a deer when it's a female and there's babes around.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to make sure that it's out of the season when they're still milking. And
yeah, exactly. So you can kill a female, but once it's gone through the suckling season, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And the interesting thing is about these is most states and provinces have got these same types of laws, right? Whether you go to New England, Texas, Alberta, or Ontario, the laws exist all across those states,
Mm-hmm.
right, and provinces, and for good reason.
Yeah, for
Okay.
good reason. It's very important. Like there's a lot of things people do when they hunt. That's why we have to have regulations. And when people do it properly, things work out.
Yeah. Well, so you said your father showed you how, but you
Yeah.
never made a kill.
No, I never actually killed anything, but my father did a couple times when we were out. Hey, but he would show me how to operate a gun, how to target, different things. But I mostly do well in the target practice when we went onto the range.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is about guns and target practice is not, it's perfectly legal, of course.
Yep.
Right?
You do have to be licensed, and you do have to be have the gun treated or cared for in a particular way, stored in a particular way, transported in a particular way. Once you're there, you have to be registered. Your name is there, and these things. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into these things.
Yeah. And this shouldn't be a surprise as an offence. Making or possessing a counterfeit tag or validation certificate.
Oh God.
I don't know how you personally. I don't know how you'd counterfeit that stuff, but typically, as we know, when you're counterfeiting anything, there's usually somebody who's actually, if you've got any rules and regulations, there's somebody that can counterfeit it, right?
Oh yes. Yep. There's always somebody out there who's gonna find a way to get around it.
I don't know what the fines are for things like that, but it's kind of weird that we wouldn't do that kind of thing,
Yeah. And that's usually when the fines, if fines are going up, it's usually because there's a number of offenses going on, and they want to put some controls on some of the things that are being done.
Yeah. Well, quite rightly, and for example, the next one, violating party hunting rules. That doesn't mean to say we're having a drink, and we're shooting anything that moves, right? It's very serious because that's just a party of people that are actually hunting.
Yep. Yeah, like you go with a group of friends, and they all go out, and we're going to go bear hunting.
Yeah. Or whatever.
And there's rules about that too.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. So when you were young, did you do that much?
It was mostly with my dad, myself, and there was this friend of his. We would go out, and sometimes my older brother would come with me too.
Okay.
And
So when
it taught us both, my oldest brother and myself.
when he taught you to shoot,
around, I don't think he's ever got interested in that. I was just fascinated. I wanted to learn different things.
yeah. So when he taught you to shoot, was that in a range without with hard targets rather than in the
targeting targets?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, there's very limited. Like you can't go down to the neighborhood and say, "Oh, there's a side of a building." I say, "Oh, bang, 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 bang."
Of course not.
No, you can't. You have to be it's very restricted where you could shoot. Now, when people get their PAL, they have to. There's certain limits of where you can take your gun, how you can use your gun, and so forth. Hey, there was less limits back then, and this is one of the reasons why there's so much debates about guns and so forth, is because up in the rural area where I lived when I was younger, there was a culture there that respected guns.
Yeah.
And you don't hear about people going into the vestiges, the whole
Well,
metropolis of
yeah.
Espanola and shooting people,
And and
mass
typically
people. You don't hear about
hunters don't go shooting,
it.
don't
No.
go on mass shootings.
Yep, they're not interested in that.
Yeah.
They come
They
home
they
after they've
shoot.
been hunting and they
Yeah.
have their guns. We have a gun case, gets locked up. Ammunition is separated. You have to take the ammunition out and it gets separated and locked up too.
Yeah.
Okay? And when you transport it, it has to be, you can't just put it in the seat beside you when you drive. It has
Well,
to
in
be,
fact, actually, I don't know what the rules are in Ontario, but for example, shooting out of a moving vehicle is illegal in most states.
yeah, you can't. Because who knows where you're shooting,
Yeah.
right? Because you could be shooting someone walking down the street or at another vehicle or whoever, you know. So you have to be really, really careful. So if you are technically going hunting, you're going hunting where the animals are.
Yeah. You're not. And for example, if an animal walks past a house, that's between walks past a house, and you don't shoot it while it's walking past the house.
Right, exactly. And this is one of the things too. And also too, if you're going hunting and you have to wear some kind of vest or some kind of way of identifying yourself so that other hunters don't confuse you for what they're looking for.
Yeah, and usually that's an orange vest, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing I did as a kid is ice fishing.
Ice fishing.
Yep. You
Yeah.
go out in the lake after it's frozen over. It doesn't happen here that often, but up north it did.
I don't know. You
Go out in
see
a
them.
skidoo. You drive in a skidoo and go to these parts, and there'd be fishing huts set
Yeah,
up.
you see them. I see them on 20 on the 20 River. Before the 20 empties out into Lake Erie, there's actually a nice lake there, pond
Yep.
there,
Yep.
right? See it on
Very
that
much
20
usually
River.
have that, yeah. And
Yeah,
then they have the fishing huts where you go in and do that. Again, you need a license to go in.
yeah,
And it's really nice because when I was a kid, they also used to have these little places that sold hot chocolate and other things nearby.
yeah. Oh
Yep.
yeah, why not?
But Elliott Lake and Sudbury, places like that where Manitouwadge, places like that where we grew up, it's all that's the type of thing people did.
Yeah, yeah. But don't go diving in the lake yourself.
Yeah, that's it's not a place to swim. It's a
No,
place
it's
to
not a
put
place to
your rod
swim.
in, wait till the fish comes.
Yep, exactly. And if they don't come, start again.
Yep. Yep, exactly. And there's different things you can use as bait, and they even have bait and tackle shops.
Yeah. Okay. Hunting in the closed season is restricted, or in a restricted area is an offence.
Yep, absolutely.
One would expect that because obviously hunting is there. A lot of the rules around hunting are there to protect the animals.
Absolutely.
It
Because you
seems,
don't want to start depopulating the bear population just
yeah,
because you feel like going out hunting.
yeah. And part of the reason that you've got these kind of rules is that exactly you don't want to depopulate the bear population
Or any other animal,
or the
you know,
deer
for
or
years, you
moose
know,
or yeah,
like myself, probably today I probably wouldn't do it, but at that time, you know, it was interesting. I enjoyed working with my dad at that time
yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
watched.
I wouldn't, but my interest is of course the law.
Yeah,
Right?
but as I got older, I said, no, I'd rather just keep a pet dog or a pet cat. I'm not
Yeah.
hunting.
I,
But,
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure about what this one means. Illegal methods or equipment. The equipment I can imagine. Basically, what you've got is that you've got equipment. You've got equipment that is more effective at killing.
yeah, like if you're going to go out with an AR-15 and you go duck hunting, I think that there's some issues.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And even with other forms of animal, hunting,
Yeah,
an AR-15 would give you an unnatural advantage.
yeah, exactly. There has to be some controls of that, and that can also endanger other hunters in the area. So
Absolutely, it could.
you have to be these sorts of things are in place for a reason.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. I'm not entirely sure what this one means, exceeding the bagging limits, but I'm assuming that what happens is you have to, if you're going to take an animal, you have to bag it afterwards.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not sure exactly what the rules are, but again,
Certain number of fish you can get too.
Pardon me?
Number of fish you can take are limited too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. That would make sense.
Fish all the time. All the time. We got a lot of fish. I got a lot of fish too.
Yeah. So, for example, you couldn't take more than 15 mackerel.
Yeah, like when I was fishing up north, we used to take the fish home and we used to eat it. You actually can eat the fish that you got out of the lake, which is fascinating. Something you can't do here.
Well, why not? Actually, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
Fish? Can we do fishing in the Lake Ontario?
People have fished around here, but what they did is fish for the sport of it. They fish and then they throw the fish back in the lake.
Oh,
it's
you mean I can't?
Yeah, it's sad because I think people should be able to fish, and I think that we should have water that's clean and safe.
So if I take a salmon out, I'm supposed to let it go?
Yeah, generally, because it may not be edible. Right? And it's sad because, because I think it's because up north they have very clean lakes, so it's always clean, and you can actually eat the fish out of it.
But again, something like salmon, for example, you can only catch them when they're going upstream.
Yep, exactly.
Coming back downstream is not a good animal.
Yeah, then you're going to have some issues there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Trespassing when hunting. So that's basically walking across somebody's property where you don't have permission to hunt.
Yeah, you're going back into a farmhouse, where he has several acres of land. And on that land, they also have a bit of wooded area. Oh, I want to go down there and see if I can see anything.
Yeah.
Unwise.
Yeah.
Because a person whose property it is would be frowning upon that.
Yeah. And the point being is that you have to get permission everywhere that you do.
And there are conservation areas that you're allowed to do it, that they set out, and that you can do them, because these are owned by the authorities.
Yeah. And the same with lakes and rivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Along certain points of lakes and rivers, you can fish.
Yeah, exactly. They want that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay.
There's rules around commercial fishing, but that's more on a federal level with the fisheries and oceans.
Yeah.
Like you can't just go out there and just take a whole bunch of things and have a huge net and put them in, and then take another huge net and bring them in, and then send out these big boats with more huge nets, and then they find out that there's no more fish.
Yeah.
Like overfishing is actually an offense federally.
Yeah. In fact, actually, overfishing tends to be more of an issue. Well, the fishing issues tend to be more of a federal issue when it comes to sea-based fishing rather than river-based fishing.
Exactly, and it's mostly a commercial. Like if you're working as a fisher, and it's on a commercial or at a port somewhere. And the thing is, it's also regulated too. Like you can't just go to like if you're an American, you can't just go up to Canada and sit by the Atlantic Ocean and fish. You got to be a Canadian, or at least authorized to do that here.
I would think you'd be able to get a license.
Yep.
A temporary license.
But as a company, you can't.
No.
There's different rules around who can do it commercially, who can't.
Yeah. Okay. One further offence here is failure to notify the minister of a change in information. So new phone numbers, new email addresses, new residential addresses, etc., all have to be kept up to date with the ministry.
Exactly.
Not surprising, really, because in fact we've become sloppy on it with things like driving licenses. But again, you're supposed to notify the ministry of the change to the driving license.
Yeah, theoretically.
But since Ford made the change to, since Ford made the change to those rules, it became more difficult. And in fact, we use them for finding people, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's other ways to find people, but however, the driving license thing may become a little less effective.
Okay, so failing to submit mandatory hunter reports. That seems. I'm going to say innate kind of. How would you put it? Innate baloney. But again, I'm sure it has its purpose.
Do you want to know how much you got? How often you went out? That sort of thing. There, and these things, and then you have your tags, and it has to match what you brought in.
Yeah.
These things, I guess, it gives a bureaucrat a job.
Do you think there's a lot of people out there that hunt without a license?
Oh, probably. I would suspect
there are a lot of people out there that drive without a license, right?
Oh yeah, they drive without a license, they hunt without a license, and I've been catching some of them who've been practicing law without a license.
Okay, and therefore we should be looking at the penalties. So there are a number of smaller penalties for less serious offences, right? Set fines. For example, fishing without getting permission would probably not be a 250,000. It wouldn't be a 250,000.
Oh, yeah.
What?
No, it's somebody called, and I have to call them back.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be a $25,000 fine, for example, but they'd be fines that would be like parking, other tickets that you would get that would be lesser fines.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of them, for example, may carry only a $200 fine as a set fine for failing to produce your card.
Yeah, exactly. And failing on multiple occasions may escalate that.
Yeah, and it may go up, especially if you are in a habit of not producing a card.
Yeah.
Then they find out you don't have a card to begin with.
I know you've got one, but you fail to produce it every single time.
Exactly. And then there are some where it could be example like 4 individuals being fined a total of $8,000 for moose hunting violations, including harvesting the animal without following party hunting rules.
Oh, okay.
And then there's some serious penalties of up to $100,000 and/or imprisonment up to 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say fines up to 25,000 for individuals and 100,000 for corporations.
And migratory birds, hunting around for birds, you have to watch. Some birds are protected. You can't hunt them, period.
Yeah. And as you said, there's not a lot of corporate use, but again, 25,000 for individuals is quite high. Yeah. And you would actually have to go quite some way before you can, before you'd be fined that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
This is where it's usually a progressive type of thing. They take it into provincial offences court, and you often have to fight. Sometimes if you know that the cards are stacked against you, sometimes you can negotiate a lower fee or have one of the charges withdrawn in exchange. A lot of different things we do.
Yeah.
I handled a case one time. Somebody tried to import, what was it? It was the skin of turtles.
Okay.
And leather.
That seems highly illegal.
Yeah, and this was imported. And of course, I said, how did you do that and where did you get it? But people do that. And yes, There was customs issues, there was wildlife issues, there was endangered species issues, a lot of issues.
Yeah, I would think with something like a turtle, that would be very difficult.
Yeah, they went down from, they were threatening $15,000. And I forget what we negotiated down to. It was quite a bit less, but there was a prohibition.
Hmm.
They couldn't even do anything. They can't hunt. They can't do anything.
Yeah.
They can't import, export, any type of thing other than just getting a case of beer or something.
Well, there are also prison sentences for people
Yeah.
who don't take notice of fines. I do know that.
Oh, yeah. There's a few of them that, well, I'm not paying fines. See what they're going to do. Well,
Right.
and enjoying
So
wearing an old suit.
there are financial penalties, for example, not submitting reports.
Yep.
And licensing sanctions can include uh, court uh, court ordered cancellation and suspension of a hunting license.
Yep. Particularly people, they can be banned for hunting for a long period of time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then
No,
hunting while banned makes it even a more serious offense.
I saw this. I saw this documentary in an American state about hunting. They were threatening to ban this guy for life.
God, he must have did a few things.
Oh, he never had a license.
Oh, so he
Usually
never had a license.
never
Oh, you're
produced
gonna
a
ban him.
license. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be
We
weird.
usually never produced a license. Never really obeyed the rules and hunted out of season.
Yeah. Yep, and that
Um,
can be very serious. And this is what a lot of people say, when they start talking about things. Oh, I'm going to go to the short hills anyways and go hunt. If the indigenous can do it, so can I. No, no, no.
well,
Things are
there are special rules about that
Yeah,
anyway, right?
you have to only allow that when it does. Like there are other times people can do it, ordinary people can do it. But this is one of the problems that it's one of the things people have to pay attention to.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So, any other thoughts about this?
Yeah, it was always very interesting growing up in the culture that I came from up north, because it was more of a hunting culture, a gun culture, but it was a different than a gun culture that you have in the United States.
Justin O'Donnell, WhatsApp audio.
Jesus.
He knows
Can I
where.
call you back? I'm in Spin Legal. Oh,
He
yeah,
knows we're on there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the kind of thing, like it's
Yeah.
like yeah, because these are things that could happen. Like up north, we used to do it. We used to go out and go fishing, go hunting, and doing different things. We did it because everybody did it,
Yeah.
and it was a known thing that people like to do. Okay,
I
and in
get
order
it.
to protect the community. And we never
So
heard anybody using their guns to shoot people, going out on shooting sprees or anything. Never.
yeah,
Even now, we don't have them. I don't hear
and
about
hey, as a
Massey or Elliott Lake or anywhere. I don't hear about it.
yeah, and as a vegetarian, I kind of find hunting a bit repulsive, but I understand it from the viewpoint of, there's a logical reason for it.
Yeah, and indigenous culture too. There's
Yeah,
a lot of that.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
right.
there's yeah, and as a vegetarian, you don't have to hunt. Nobody tells you you have to.
No,
And it's very different because it's that we've always used animals, all our history. Even now, we're looking at more of people are getting more and more interested in animals and
yeah.
their rights and what we need to do to protect animals and protect species.
Okay, so if you're in a situation whereby you're driving along a road at night and all of a sudden a deer pops out and you hit it,
Hmm.
what are you supposed to do? What's the law say
You
about
do
that?
have to be ported, I think, to the Ministry of Natural Wildlife, Natural Resources, or whoever.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm in a country road, and where the hell am I going to find their number?
Well, as soon as possible, take a picture, and if there's any damage to your car, you'd probably have to look at that too. And this is where, and then that poor deer, if you killed it, then there would have to be some.
You would never, the problem here is I'm not an expert who would know whether I'd killed a deer or not, right?
I know, but they would go over and they would check it out. Somebody from wildlife would come and check it out. They do these things all the time, and they go out for coyotes. Coyotes get injured too.
Is it an offense to drive away from the scene?
I would probably not until I've made a phone call. Some people just call the police or whatever, and then the police contact the right people.
Okay.
That's like if you don't know exactly who to call, just contact the police. Is probably the best thing to do.
Yeah, call 911 first, and
then somebody will say, "Okay, where are you?" He says, "Well, I'm here. I'm in the middle of this. I'm about 10 minutes outside of such and such a town."
Yeah, in fact, they're not going to really know where you are.
Yeah, and I said, I just want to make sure
know where you are.
Because I hurt this deer, I don't know, I just want to make sure that the deer's okay or that it's being reported, that somebody can pick it up or whatever, because otherwise you move away, somebody else is going to drive in and go, oh my God. You want to make sure.
The other thing about that is taking roadkill. Is there a law against that?
I think so.
Because, for example, you just killed that deer. We're just talking about deer. Mm-hmm. It's not in deer season, right? Mm-hmm. So it's roadkill. You don't have the right to take it away.
Nope.
You don't have a tag for it, right? And as you say, call the police is about the only thing you can really do.
Police, and then they will call forest ranger or whoever needs to come up and take a look at the deer, and if the deer is treatable, treat him, put him back in the forest, or if they're there, then euthanize them. It's that kind of job must be very difficult.
I would think. Yeah, I would think so.
Because you're dealing with a lot of animals, and you have to make that decision a lot of times.
Yeah. Okay. So, and of course, as a person driving in the dark at night, you're not a hunter. You don't have a license. You've never done anything like this.
Yeah. This is a thing, that I'm sure it has happened, and people don't know what to do, but people listening, in case it happens, just call the police or someone like that.
I think that would be the best advice.
If you're in a metro area or something.
Yeah.
To get somebody from the appropriate ministry, somebody will show up.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously, if you're on the highway like the 401 or something, that puts a lot more difficulty in that situation, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And I guess the OPP, would know who to contact.
Yeah, but again, I'm saying you're less likely to encounter an animal running wild on the 401 than you are, on 58 North or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you wouldn't see a bear cross a Queenie.
No, there's enough fencing there, and it's gonna go. Okay, there's those fast things over there. I'm not doing it. Right.
Yep, exactly. They're smart enough. They're not gonna go in there. Even deer, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
I mean that, like sometimes you'll see squirrels running around across the road. That's about the most risk I've ever encountered driving. Sometimes you'd see squirrels trying to run across.
Yeah, I don't know. The trouble with squirrels is when they move and they go out and then they come back.
Yeah, poor little things.
I think is when they do that.
Never hit an animal though, ever.
No. Okay, so hunting in closed season is, or in restricted areas, is an offence.
Absolutely.
Naturally so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that would be seen as one of the worst types of offences that you could commit, I would think.
Yep, exactly. Where people go out there, and there are conservation officers everywhere, and they will check.
And you can So you can get jail time for up to 1 year for general offences and up to 2 years for commercial offences.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you commit the worst kind of offence, you could go to prison for up to a year.
Yep. And this is one of the things that could happen. This is a provincial offenses, and yes, into the provincial offenses, yes, you can be jailed.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Okay, so thank you everybody for listening to us. If you need to contact Invictus Legal, you can do so on 905-688-5598. Email Angela at weareinvictus.legal, or me via Peter at weareinvictus.legal, or get our website, which is weareinvictus.legal. And the final piece that I've got is for Angela.
Yeah. So what you hear today is it's not the law. We're not giving you legal advice. We're giving you legal information, and we're having a discussion about some interesting aspects of the law. And we come up with all kinds of it. And somebody had suggested to us that we get into hunting and gaming law. I said my only experience in that was when I was younger and living up north in a rural area where everybody was into this hunting and gaming and fishing and stuff like that. But coming down to a city, and there are people that still find places in a city. There are rural areas you can go out, like I talked about Short Hills, different places like that. But the thing is, it's not as common here. But these are things that if something like that happens, or if you have an issue, it's best to bring it to an attention of a paralegal or a lawyer if something happens to you, or if you feel you have a legal issue.
Well, absolutely, because you never know with this sort of thing. Bring it to somebody, get it checked out. There might be a simple answer, there may not be.
Yep, exactly.
All right, and we thank you for listening to our show today. It was a short one, but a sweet one.
Yep, interesting one.
Okay, bye.